Welcome to People First Builders, celebrating leaders in construction who build success through their people. My name is Fletcher Wimbush, your host. I'm the CEO of Discover.ai, a performance hiring software helping small and mid-sized AEC companies solve their hardest problem, people. We help people first leaders install and execute repeatable talent acquisition systems that drive business results by hiring top performers, lowering turnover, and building world-class company cultures. Stick around to the end and you can learn more about how to become a guest on our podcast and share your story with the world. Welcome to the People First Builders podcast. My name is Fletcher Wimbush. I'm your host. I'm here today with Chris Bue. He is the president of Ace Handyman Franchising. Chris is a key leader behind the national expansion of the Ace Handyman Franchising brand, helping scale the brand to nearly over 400 franchise locations. His expertise centers around franchise growth, national expansion strategy, operationally scaling systems, franchise performance optimization, acquisition-led growth, sustainable scaling frameworks. He appears to operate at the strategic growth and franchise development level with a strong focus on what differentiates high-performing franchisees from those who struggle. And in the pregame here, Chris, you and I were talking about, well, people are kind of probably at the center of all of these things that you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So you're touching, all areas of your franchisee's performance and just the brand as a whole and its performance. And people are the ones feeling that. So I'm going to look forward to talking to you about, how you're supporting or how you're helping influence all these people decisions and actions that are taking. Before we do, who is Ace Franchising? I don't want to make any assumptions. I see like Ace. I feel like corner Ace hardware store, but I don't know. Like, who are you guys and what are you all about?
Awesome. Well, thank you first and foremost for allowing me the opportunity to be here. It's a privilege and an honor. And I love the name. When I saw the People First Builders, I was like, no brainer. We got to go do this because we are a people business at the end of the day. So you're right. Ace Handyman is part of Ace Hardware. So we've been around for about 28 years. We were a company called Ace. I can hardly say it anymore. Handyman Matters prior to 2019, and then Ace Hardware came and acquired us. Oh, wow. And since then, it's been a wild ride, right? I mean, it was right before the pandemic, so there was that chaos that was going on, and then just explosive growth that came behind it. So we're very proud to be associated with those three letters. Trust, integrity, all the values that people go and they think about Ace. We've always endured those. And now with those letters, it just that much more credibility to what we do. And really what we do is we help people in their homes and we bring helpful home. And it was a no-brainer when we met with Ace and the leadership team that there was something here for the future. And that's kind of how we got to be who we are.
Yeah. And Ace Hardware has always historically, I think, run a franchising model, if I understand that correctly, right?
So it's actually a co-op. So all the shareholders of the company are the retailers. Mm-hmm. So if you want to own any shares or stocks in Ace Hardware, you have to be a retailer. Yeah. And so the retailers drive the business. The leadership team at Ace works for the retailers. The support center in Oak Brook, they work for the retailers. So we're a franchising model. It's a little bit different, but similar in many ways as well.
Yeah, kind of familiar feel. There's these independent operators. The mechanics behind that slightly different with the legal the co-op versus franchising.
Pushing a rope a little bit, because they are independent operators. So, not coming at them with you have to do something, but showing them the why and doing our best efforts to demonstrate ROI on initiatives that we roll out and all that's all very similar between the two companies.
Well, I was really excited to have you on because I love my neighborhood Ace Hardware everywhere I've lived. I live in Seal Beach, and there's just this awesome little Ace Hardware right on Main Street there. And I go there like over Home Depot every day, to do my little things that I need to do. And, always enjoy that. We go to the Ace Hardware in Truckee where my mom lives. I mean, they have a great operation. I was not aware that you guys, that Ace has now folded in a brand of some handyman services. So I would imagine the brand has been helpful to the franchise group to build some credibility or to build some recognition,
Certainly.
in that sense. So how do these franchise operators work then? What's the structure for if I'm an Ace Handyman, franchise operator? What does my business look like?
Yeah, certainly. Great question. So, one of the most important details about our business, which is unique to us and compared to some of the other, organized, if you will, handyman businesses out there, is that we use W-2 employees. So,
Oh,
all of our craftsmen are employees of our franchise owners.
yeah,
We do have subcontractor networks. So, in the event that we're doing something that requires some licensing that we shouldn't be doing or we
yeah,
can't do, we have partners within our market. Each one of the franchises is, there's a franchise owner, there's an office manager, right? Because we got to answer those phones. Like
yeah.
it's in our franchise agreement. Answer the phone within 3 rings with a live person
Okay.
because it,
Yeah.
it,
The
it, it
service,
matters.
the real service minded
It,
that you get when you go into the Ace Hardware store, the local one that I like to go to here, right?
Absolutely, quality, convenience, like that's helpful. Like that's it starts when the phone rings, and if you
Yeah.
don't answer it, you're missing the box. You're not even checking that box,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
From the
Nothing's
get go.
more
So
annoying than calling. Like I call the dentist and they don't answer ever. And I'm like, I really need to
yeah,
go to the dentist.
yeah, certainly. So we've got people in the office on the phones that manage a schedule, and then we've got craftsmen out in the field, and then those businesses just grow, right? So we like to see people to start with 5 craftsmen when they get going. We've got offices that have 15
Are they
craftsmen that are out
holding
running
general
around.
contractor licenses then? Or
Where it's required, some do and some don't. Some states require, if you're going to do more than X amount of dollars, you have to have a general contractor license. So, or be sponsored by a general contractor. So
yeah.
we play those kind of case by case, but more often than not, they don't require licensing.
So what,
We're
so what
all
kind of
bonded
projects
in.
are they
Yeah.
doing then, right?
Yeah.
And then obviously if not, yeah, what's the typical type of services that a franchise operator is then delivering?
Our typical jobs can consist 1,162 jobs, and that's a real number. So
Okay, that's how many
we
different jobs that you're
that's how many
typically
different jobs. Yeah.
executing.
Yes.
I
Yes.
didn't
Yes.
know
So
there's that many things inside my house that could be worked on.
there certainly is. There certainly is. And we're happy to help you with it. But yeah, so like we're handymans, like that. That's at
Yeah,
our core. And
yeah,
when our founder, started us 28 years ago, he founded us just because he was helping people in their homes with swamp coolers,
yeah,
and people just found out that if he was competent, careful, and clean, and showed up on time and did what he was supposed to do and answered the phone, they wanted him to do more in their home. And he was like, man, there might be something here. So he
yeah.
started the handyman business, and that's really what we do, and that is our sweet spot. We like to specialize in 2, 4, and 8 hours, right? The
Type
beauty of
projects.
projects, nagging to-do lists, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can get specific and say you want this project done, but where a lot of people tend to try us is, I've got a ceiling fan or a loose handrail or my deck boards are wobbly, and so they try us there. And our foundational model is that build a base of happy repair customers, and then they start to buy more from you over time. So that initial 2-hour job, the next time it turns into a 4-hour job, and then it turns into an 8-hour job, right? And then, now we've got people that are doing what, they call them bigger jobs, but they're just bigger handyman jobs. It's a
are they
week's worth of
are they getting
handymans.
to like full like bathroom remodels and room additions or no, not
Yeah,
quite?
nah, we have some people that do that. Few and far between, and those folks they've come to us with that experience.
Yeah,
But with the caveat is that you always have to have the handyman flywheel turn, and that's
yeah,
that's the lead gen, right? That's how
yeah,
people
yeah,
come, and they come and try you, and then you honor our 8-step service path. It's very, very rigid. It ensures accountability to the brand promise as well as profitability to the job,
yeah,
and then you delight those customers. And we have a 4.85-star rating across tens of thousands of jobs a year,
yeah.
and we're very, very proud of that. But it's handyman work. That's where it starts, and then often it will evolve. We've got a gentleman in our network who's one of our top performers. He does a beautiful pull out, put back bathroom.
Yeah.
He works with a company called Onyx, who's a partner of ours. He's got a little display room. He's got it all organized. He can tell you over phone how much it's going to cost. He can email it to you. Go out, bang it out, knock it out. That's a multi-day job. That's
Yeah.
outside of the handyman lane, but he still has an engine over here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how he gets a lead. I mean, he came in. It's funny you
100%.
said the ceiling fan in my bathroom. We literally just had that replaced. Had the handyman over to do that because it was like loud and like noisy. And my God,
Yeah.
my wife was so happy that I got done finally. I've been, like, I'm not going to do that,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so having great people. I mean, look, we've all had horror stories. Like, there. Actually, this was a new handyman for us that did this. It was just happened a couple weeks ago, and we had a different handyman prior to that. And you know what? He was the nicest guy. I mean, I really liked him. I won't name names. I don't think he listens to the show, thank God. but I mean, he was terrible. Like, I mean, my wife hated him. Really nice guy. Like, we liked him as a human being, but he just, like, messy, and just everything he did was not good. Like, there was always a problem. Like,
Mm,
I'd say like 75% of the tasks we had him do, we had to call him back. Like,
yeah.
you missed this part. The toilet's still leaking. Like, whatever little thing. It was like, it's just why, so annoying in that sense. So how do you guys go and source, or, how do you create this machine? You guys have these great systems that you're talking about. How do you find the right people to put them in there? Or what are you guys, recommending, or what systems and processes are your best franchise operators doing in order to make sure that they find and retain some of the best people to hold these values?
At the risk of sounding cliche, I'll say it really comes back to the core values of the organization.
Yeah.
Right. And when Ace acquired us, we had different values, but very similar. Same meaning, different words. And at Ace, when we talk about things like winning and excellence and love and gratitude and humility and teamwork, how you demonstrate those through your actions is how that touches the customer at the end of the day. And so it starts with, at the franchise level, like making sure that we're educating. I was just at a meeting. We have a handyman university that we hold every month where we're training new franchise owners. And we spent 45 minutes just talking about this, right?
Yeah.
And because, and so from here, then to the franchisees, we have a very rigid, awarding process, if you will, for our franchise owners. Like we're not in the business of selling franchises.
Yeah.
We're in the business of awarding franchises to the right people. And
Mm.
we're not owned by Black Card Equity.
Yeah.
We're owned by a business that has a heart and a soul. They keep score with money. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but they have a heart and a soul, and it's about doing good in the neighborhood and the communities. And so we make sure that we have franchise owners that fit that bill, right?
Yeah.
They have to fit that bill. We've said no. We say no to some very, very successful, well-funded, an amazing international businessman. And we're like, you're not going to be able to connect to the people in the trades, and you're not going to be able to connect to the customers. So
you
you're not a good
starting
fit
with
here.
vetting your franchisees and your franchise
Yeah,
operators. You're selective in that sense to make sure that you
yeah,
think that those folks are going to uphold your values, and I'm assuming you hold them accountable to some degree as well. Maybe if
certainly.
there's a misfit there, you might have
Yeah.
to take action. But so starts there. Now, how do the franchise operators, franchisees, they're taking these value system, you're really helping instill that in them. I would assume many of them are really getting behind that and getting excited about it because they maybe are hopefully already sort of aligned with those things. Then at that ground level, how are they doing it? It's really hard to find tradespeople.
It is hard. And we start off with telling them that.
Yeah.
First and foremost, right? If you don't know the battle you're fighting, there's no way to win. And
Yeah.
so at here, we like to believe, and we know it's true, that what you focus on gets bigger.
Yeah.
And if you wake up every day and tell yourself, I can't find anybody, I can't find people, man, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But if you wake up every day and say, I'm going to dedicate part of my day to hiring, training, and evaluating every single day, it becomes a norm, right? And then when you do that, and again, I don't know, cliche, but I'm going to go back to those values. You use those values as guiding principles within the organization. So it's not a poster on the wall. It's when you see it in a review, right? And when we have our service path, and when you see that someone makes a reference to, gosh, the guy called the night before to ask me questions about my job. Bingo, that's a step in our service path. Celebrate it. Make sure it's a reality before they leave the job. And this is something that your guy in your bathroom did not obviously do.
Yeah.
If there's any reason you wouldn't give me a 5 out of 5 star right now, please tell me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, let's address it.
It's accountability, and we have systems in place to hold people accountable, but we make sure that it's presented to the employees in the sense that it's not a corporate policy, it's a culture. And but when we execute on those culture and those steps, we delight our customers. And that's how we win.
Yeah.
all the time.
So I like what you said. So, I mean, when you talk to franchisees and you're training them, you're onboarding them, you're laying out the roadmap for their success, there must be lots of things that are on that list. Like, hey,
Lots of
you got to
things.
do like really good. Like, where is the people side of it, the acquisition side of it? Where does that rank for you guys on that list typically, you think?
Well, we're a people business, and really what we sell is inventory, and our
Yeah.
inventory is ours, right?
Yeah.
We're time and material.
People's work.
Yeah, we're time plus material, right? We do not carry AR. We do not overextend ourselves on
Yeah.
projects. We get paid at the end of the day, right? And so by doing that, we're able to tie a pretty consistent revenue income to our employees.
Yeah.
And so when I said that service path is part of honoring the brand promise and the execution, it also helps protect the paycheck of the craftsman. So
Yeah.
when we say things like, hey, this is a 4-hour job, or we estimate it over the phone that this seems like it's going to be about a 4-hour job, Mrs. Smith. When Johnny gets there, he'll shore it up. You guys will come to an agreement and then we'll get started. If Johnny gets there and he's like, man, this is a 3-hour job, well, what can we fill that other hour with to add value to that? The customer's planning on paying 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
What happens sometimes is these craftsmen go out and they're like, oh man, I got done at 2, and then they leave. And it's like, dude, no, like the customer was willing to pay for that 4 hours. So
Yeah.
we have tools, we have the 1,162 sheet. Hey, Mrs. Smith, while I'm looking at that drywall patch that I need to fix, here are some other things that we could address. If I get done early, maybe I can knock a few of these out for you. Right.
Yeah.
And so, those are just like value adds to the customer. It's like getting the dessert for free, but it also helps protect the paycheck of a craftsman, which these guys struggle. Treating people with dignity and respect. I can't tell you how many people have come to us and, why'd you leave your last place? Oh, the guy didn't pay me.
Yeah. Or there's inconsistency in work and hours, therefore I wasn't really making enough, right? So
yeah,
this makes sure that these guys have consistent work, the consistent paychecks and things.
Yeah.
So your system is fueling a better, outcome for the trades, the craftsperson themselves, which then makes them happier, which makes the customer happier. This whole flywheel of everybody is just happier, more successful because their needs are being met. And I think that's such a crucial thing that you're pointing out here. And what I love about the brand, and that I've experienced just as a consumer, right, is that it's always about creating a win-win for everybody involved there. And that's a big part of building a great culture. You mentioned something earlier about, hey, this is one of the things we tell people, like, hey, finding great craftsmen is going to be a challenge, right? Mm-hmm. And you address it right up front. And I tell this to people all the time who have particularly challenging talent or labor market challenges, where they come to me and say, I need to fill this role. And I tell them right up front, this is going to be a challenging thing, right? Now, sometimes I can tell them, hey, this is like a relatively easy thing to do. I mean, it's never easy perfectly, but that same kind of thing to get people in the mindset of like, hey, are you ready to do the work? Yeah. And a lot of times the work is like, hey, it's 15 minutes a day. You're going to need to commit to this. And I see so many business leaders, because hiring is not always their core business activity. It's fixing leaky faucets, or managing inventory, or managing schedules, or doing the books, or whatever else it is, right? But this is like something that happens once in a while, especially in smaller businesses. They're not always hiring. How do you get somebody in the mindset of like, let's build some habits around, let's pay attention to this on a regular basis, like 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day or 3 hours a week or something.
We just got done with the training, and one of the topics was, don't burn through people in your market. If you don't need to hire anybody right now, and we have partners that we work with that help lead gen, aggregate across all the different job boards and all the stuff that's out there. When you got people applying to your business, don't ignore them. Right? I mean, call every single one of them. I'm full right now, but can I schedule some time to meet you, just so I can just stay engaged? We treat them like leads. We treat them like business leads, because if we don't have them, we got nothing to sell. 80% of our P&L is made up of labor. Yeah, it just is, right? And so it's hyper important for us.
Yeah, and that's what we call talent benching. And that's one way to talk about what you just said there, right? Is if you get a good candidate who's qualified and that could be good, and you're full, A, first of all, always be sourcing for them, and then B, always just take the time. It's
Yeah.
easy to be like, I'm full and I don't really, have the time to spend 15 minutes talking to Chris because I don't really need his help right now.
Yeah.
But boy, if Chris is amazing, like start building a relationship with him and curate a list of like 10 to 15 people who you would love to hire that maybe you don't have time for, or you don't room for right now, you don't have capacity for, but build, like talk to them every quarter or every month and check in, a text or maybe a lunch or whatever. They will go get another job in the meantime. They may not be ready for you the next time you need to hire, but if you maintain that relationship over 3 months, a year, 2 years, when eventually that is another flywheel, right? That they will come drop when the time is right, or when you call them and you're like, you know what, I'm so busy now and I've got great opportunity, and you can sell your value proposition that you've shared already. They'll be like, you know what, this other place is not that great. I think I'll come over, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing that's really important to us is just meeting these folks where they are.
Yeah.
We can have flexibility in our schedules. You got somebody that wants to work on a Saturday. We don't typically work on Saturdays, but if you got a homeowner that is okay with it, and you got somebody who is okay with it, then let's make that work. Or I need Tuesdays off. Like trying to meet these people. Another good example is, we have an apprentice program where you can come in and you can start as an apprentice. You can work your way up to a handyman, to a craftsman, to a master craftsman, to a field supervisor. And we've had people go all the way up to ownership.
Wow.
We have one of our franchise owners right now started as not
But
an apprentice. He was a handyman in there.
But the franchise owners are the ones helping, or are the ones executing that path.
Yeah.
They're the ones developing those people. So that's
100%.
So how do you get
100%.
them to make that investment? Because I hear a lot of business owners say, in the trades in general, they're like, I just need somebody's experience. They're unwilling to develop that person. They don't want to make that investment.
We have an advantage in that, in the type of work that we do. We're a handyman business, right? Yeah. We spend a lot of time fixing drywall. Which drywall can be tricky, right? Yeah. I mean, there's definitely an art there.
I've tried it and I gave up.
Yeah. I have a wall that I built downstairs that someday someone's going to have to redo. I completely agree. But fix and post, installing curtains, doing these nagging lists, they don't take a master interior craftsman, right? Or somebody who has a high level of skills. We work towards that. Some of our guys are so incredibly talented, guys and gals. We have female craftsmen across the country too, which is awesome. But they come in and we have just a network, right? Like our franchise owners are so networked to each other and in with each other that we got help here and help there. And we have on our support team here, we've got a few of our franchise business coaches that were home builders. They were handyman, right? And so we do a lot to support them, to help build those people up. And our franchise owners will invest in it because they know that if they can keep those people, that's what they're selling, right?
And when you're developing people, that makes them a lot stickier, right? So
100%.
That's a key thing, that a theme on this show that we've heard from a lot of successful folks in construction, in the trades, right? The ones who have created these programs that you're talking about, where they start as an apprentice and they develop into something like a master or whatever, that role, become a superintendent or a project manager, or eventually maybe even owner, or even, supportive of letting them branch out to ownership, right? As a franchisee, I have developed you for 10 years and now I got to let you fly. Right? I'm going to be a little sad to see that happen, but that's the best thing for everybody in that scenario at the end of the day, I would imagine. Right.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm going to try and not butcher this, but I heard a story recently. I was at a leadership conference and they were talking about the cost of not training somebody. What does that impact have on your business versus the cost of training somebody and then having them leave? Because that's some of the fear, right? People are like, I don't want to spend all this time on him because then he's just going to leave. Well, what if you don't?
Yeah. They're going to do a really bad job for your customer over and over again. Right. Yeah. And that is an interesting thing that comes up all the time. Right. And the best leaders are either looking to replace themselves or celebrating it when their people are graduating out of their organization, is the way I would think about it. Right. It's that, you know what, they've reached a level where I can no longer give them the next step. And so, you know what, celebrating their next step outside of the organization is the best, healthiest thing for everybody to do. And that's a huge win at the end of the day, because that means there's a lot of happy customers. And coworkers and team members along the way that were left in a culture that was solidified during that journey, right?
Yeah. And we really hang our hats on. It's not necessarily what we do, it's how we do it.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of folks can go out and install a fan in a bathroom, right? But being competent, careful, clean, on time, asking to make sure it's perfect, leaving the space, irrational service, right? We want people to go, holy cow, wow. It's like, that's, how do you articulate that? I don't know. I just did the best I could, but
no, that's great.
That's the experience, right?
I just think about, when I play handyman, I do not do any of those things, and it's always a disaster. And our last experience in bringing in like somebody, it was a friend, it was just random, but I mean, that was such a night and day difference than when I do it and when our previous guy had done it. And, I saw my wife have that same experience. I mean, she was just like glowing with how awesome that was. And so I've just recently been through this, so I can really relate. So look, Chris, this has been awesome. What is the best way for folks to get in touch with you guys if this resonated with them and they're interested in becoming part of the brand or getting involved? These values resonated with them.
acehandymanservices.com. You can start right there if you're looking for services. We're geo-based, so there's a zip code feature right there. You just pop in your zip code. You'll find out if we're in your area. If we're not in your area, or if it's something you're interested in doing for yourselves, there's a franchising link on our website. They're going to take you to a franchising page, and that'll get you in touch with the person who heads up our development, which is ironically still one of the founders. So that's Andy Bell, who started the company, is still here. He's the CEO, and we're going on 6 years with ACE. So I think that's speaks volume that the management team and the leadership is still there 6 years later. And then Colette is leading the charge on all the development. So awesome. We're still kind of got a little bit of a family feel, but we're learning how to be big corporate folks, with the help of ACE. So it's been a wild ride and tons of fun, and a lot of runway ahead.
Busy time in the handyman business through COVID, I imagine.
Oh, it was insane. And, it's not going anywhere really. I mean, it's not insane, but with the interest rates being where they are, people don't want to move. Yeah. The desire to age in place, that's only going to continue to grow. And then you put that on top of the fact that people don't want to work on their homes. They don't know how to work on their homes. It's just a perfect confluence for our business right now. And we're really blessed to be here, and we're really blessed to have ACE as a leader to help us.
Awesome. All right. We'll leave. Thank you so much for listening to our People First Builders podcast. If you're a successful construction CEO and would like to tell your story on this program, please visit our podcast homepage, fletcherwimbush.com/peoplefirstbuilders, or check it out in the notes below. If you got something out of this interview and would like to share the episode on socials, we always appreciate that. Just take a quick screenshot with your phone, text it to a friend, or post it to the socials. If you know someone who might be a great guest, tag them on social and let them know. And don't forget, #PeopleFirstBuilders. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We're regularly putting out new content. To make sure that you don't miss out on any episodes, go ahead and hit subscribe on your favorite podcast channel. Your thumbs up and ratings and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, fletcherwimbush.com, or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.